Okay, so first of all, the main thing to do is to make sure that the chicken is nice and dry, right?
Yep.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the fat. You also notice that I'm not wearing any gloves because we're not dealing with ready to eat food. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then once I'm ready and I've removed the fat from the internal carcass, I look for these white lines right here. Okay? I pull the skin towards the breast and I make an incision, just breaking the skin on both sides. Okay? As I break the skin on both sides, what I do is I come around to the center line of the carcass and I dislocate the leg bone. Okay?
Yep.
I follow this muscle right here, this muscle straight to the spinal cord, and I make a little incision. My finger goes into the oyster and I pull the oyster out in one shot. Right there. Okay? Then, as I cross over this ball joint, my knife goes up against the chicken. I pull on the thigh and I just seesaw back and forth. Okay? All the meat comes out. Now, before I let go of this piece, I look for another landmark, which is the white line right here. I stay 1/8 of an inch towards the drumstick from that white line, and my knife goes right through. Okay, there we go. Okay, cut the fat off. There's my first piece. For the final, they're going to need to debone the thigh, but for right now, let's just move on to the next one. Move the other side, come down, right? Here's the spinal cord. I follow this muscle all the way to the spinal cord, make a small incision, and my finger goes in right behind that oyster, and I'm pulling the oyster out as I follow it with my knife. I dislocate, come down, seesaw back and forth, and pull the thigh right off the chicken. Okay?
Yep.
Clean this up. Find the bony landmark again. There it is. 1/8 of an inch towards the drumstick, and my knife goes right through. Okay? So then we have our two drumsticks and our two thighs. Now I go to the chicken wing. It's the first bone off the wing. I stay about an inch below the joint, and I circle all the way around. Okay? I take a paper towel and I grab onto the wing. I find out the way the muscle goes and I just overextend it with a nice snap. Snap it off and it opens right up. Okay? Then for the winglet, we take this off. That's ready to go. This becomes stock material. Do the same on the other side. Come in here. Paper towel, overextend, snap it down on the cutting board, cut through the joint, and even it out on both sides. Stock material and fat, and there's our two wings. Okay? Then I turn the bird over, I scoot the skin up to the tip of the breast, and I just let my knife choose one of the sides. I stay right on the keel bone, right? And my knife chose the right hand side. So I break the skin and I just peel and scrape. So my left hand is peeling and my right hand is just using the tip of the knife to break the skin open, okay? As I come back here to the wishbone, I just follow it down. The wishbone is right there. I follow that down. And then once I got to this point, my knife goes like this through the bird, right? All the way through. And then I just come forward, nice and gentle. And take the meat off, right? And as I come back here, this bone that you see right here is real important. This bone is gonna take me right to the joint so that I can get my airline breast. And I cut right through here, and my first breast is off with the bone. I clean up the fat on the back end, that comes off. I take the tenderloin out, that is separate. clean up the fat, turn the breast over. I have a nice amount of skin on there. I clean this fat up. And then here, you see the transition from the creamy colored bone to the dark red. And right there is where my knife goes. I pull this to the edge of the cutting board. My knife goes on that and I snap it. Okay? Nice and clean. Get this cleaned up. Over here it goes. Okay? Beautiful. Bone is for stock. Now I go to the other side. So I grab onto the keel bone and I follow that keel bone to the best of my ability. My left hand is scraping. My right hand is just very gently touching with the tip of the knife. As I come back to the wishbone, once again, I follow along the side of that wishbone. And then here, I just grab onto the bird. My knife goes through, and I just follow it up. And off it comes. And here, you see that bone again, right? That bone takes me right to the tendon on the little tenderloin. I touch through that tendon. I find out and feel where the joint is, make my incision, and the carcass is almost ready to go. Okay? This fat gets cleaned up again. The extra saline solution comes off of there. We don't want that in our food. We take the tenderloin off. That goes over here for extra purposes. We take a look at the skin and we clean it up. Clean this up. Pull the skin back. We have about 90% coverage of skin, which is okay. And then here, same thing again, pull this to the edge of my cutting board. Look for the transition from creamy colored bone to dark colored bone. Right where that transition is, I just snap and it comes right off. Okay? Now, a couple more things. We need to be able to take the thigh bone out. So I just cut along the thigh bone itself and I pinch. I come through here like this, right? And then I just circle around. And there's our deboned thigh, okay? When it comes to the drumstick, we need to take this top portion off the drumstick. So I grab onto this piece. It's the more, you look at this, right? There's one flat side and then a rounded side.
Yep.
The flat side is what we want. We get into the flat side and we go underneath all those tendons and we just shoot forward, okay? I grab onto this and I shoot back. And by doing that, I'm taking a lot of the tendons out. You see those tendons? Okay, that comes off. Now, I just go all the way around. I take the top portion of this bone off, right? It just comes right off. If I have these tendinous fibers, I want to make sure I get those out of there, right? The more of these I get out, the better the grade I get on the lollipop. So I take these out one by one. If I need to, I'll grab my pliers out of my toolkit and use my pliers to pull them out. These are coming out fairly easy. You just have to be able to grab onto it.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So those are the tendons, right?
Yep.
Wipe my station down. Keep my station clean at all times. That goes in the trash. And then I've got one last thing to do for this lollipop, okay? The lollipop needs to be a couple more tendons. Come on, baby. There we go. I need to break this bone as well, right? So we have the creamy colored and then the dark colored.
Yep.
Pull it to the edge of my cutting board, snap it, and it comes right off. Done.
Done.
That's it.
Thanks, Chef.